What up, my friends? NBA season is here. Let's freaking go. It's time to talk sports betting, DFS, and all things in between. First thing I'm going to be looking at right now is really some insights for the Warriors and Nets. Very excited about this one. Game total started around 228, depending on what sportsbook you looked at. Went up to around 231. A lot of sharp money coming in on the Nets to cover, and they're getting around 90% of the money with just 54% of the bets. Sharp money is also coming in on the over. This was as of Monday night, but that is also what push the total up nearly 3 full points, depending on what sportsbook you looked at. I have a little props report and predictions article down below in the description section, totally free, and I'll let you go ahead and look at that. I want to look at some of the futures for NBA betting, and I want to look at some betting for tonight as well. And then we're going to dive into some DFS. I'm going to be looking at the teamriseorfall.com NBA Study Hub, which is completely free right now. So 2 free things down below, some sports betting and our Study Hub, which is where we house our projections and our ratings for Fanduel and DraftKings. So make sure you grab that. You'll have ownership projections as well, all sorts of Vegas things. We have trends, minute trends, and of course the simulator model over here on the far right. You'll want this for tonight for sure. All right, and from there, we're going to highlight the Core Creator tool, which is brand new. I'm very excited about what this is going to be for us and how you can build lineups based around a certain core, and salary cap being likely the second most important thing when you're creating your core. And then we're going to talk about building blocks, how this is going to work this year, and we'll build some single entry lineups for superdraft, Fanduel, and DraftKings. Going to jam it all in as quickly as I can here. So if you want the sports betting stuff, it's patreon.com/riseorfall. You want the DFS, it's teamriseorfall.com. So again, down below, description section, 2 free things for you. All right, I'm looking at most triple doubles, and listen, I love Russell Westbrook at plus 500. He led the NBA in triple doubles all the way back to 2014. We're talking 5 seasons in a row before bubble ball, and then Luka Doncic took over. But listen, Russell Westbrook, man, always has an opportunity here to lead the NBA in triple doubles. He's second all time with 143, led the NBA for 5 straight seasons. Russell Westbrook plus 500 for most triple doubles over there on DraftKings. I absolutely love it. I love this right here. That's a great one. Another one that I like for futures, and I'm going to open this up real quick, and I have them, I believe, under, let me look at, here we go. Well, while we're here, let's talk Steph Curry tonight. He has a beautiful matchup, and depending on what book you're looking at for points tonight, Steph Curry, I believe I grabbed this one via DraftKings, and his points prop is 27.5 points. Listen, no Klay Thompson. Draymond Green is out. There's Kelly Oubre Jr. There is Andrew Wiggins and a plethora of random tertiary and bench role-scoring players like Eric Pascal and some of these other players. So anyways, you're going to get Steph Curry basically shouldering the load tonight for the Warriors against Kyrie Irving defense. I love the over at 27.5 points. And I think that, listen, if the Warriors keep this game within 7, which is the current line, depending on the book you're looking at, listen, if they keep that, if they keep the game semi-close, it's because Steph Curry's just raining threes. And Kyrie Irving's defense is historically bad, and everyone knows this. He's terrible on defense. And I think that we're going to see, Kyrie Irving going out there putting on a show offensively against Steph Curry defense too. So I think you're going to see a little bit of back and forth. I like the ping pong effect in DFS as well, playing them too, and just getting off of Kevin Durant and some of these other players. And I think that you can parlay that with Steph Curry's 3-point prop, which is set at 4.5 makes. So I'm going over 4.5 3 points made and over 27.5 points for Steph Curry. Parlaying those together seems like a nice way to go about attacking tonight. I'm also leaning towards the Lakers with at minus 136 here at the money line, and it's, I don't know, not having Morris tonight for the Clippers is going to be tough against this front court of the Lakers. And I'm sorry, it's just opening night. LeBron, And I think that the outmatched Clippers front court tonight is going to be struggling. I think we're going to see Patrick Patterson for a fair amount of minutes. He's just going to get bodied. So I've got the Lakers money line. I think the Nets are going to cover. I liked it a little bit better when it was at like -6.5, -6, that it's already risen to -7. I still think they can cover. I think they're, I believe they are the second highest. They have the second best odds to win the Eastern Conference right now behind Milwaukee. So they're a loaded roster. And I think that, the Warriors in their current state of affairs and their current health, they're just not there yet. They're not there. They're not there anymore, I should say. And I like the Nets there to cover. So let's carry on here. Looking at some of these other futures. I took the Lakers at +275 to win the championship. I just don't think any other team is really there yet right now. And I think the Lakers role players and the bench just going to be a little bit better this year, more chemistry. They picked up some good players. And, Bucks, they're there at +550. I guess you could take them if you feel like bounce back spot. They're going to get through the East. But, we still have Miami they have to get through, who they struggled immensely against. And, now there's the Nets with KD and Kyrie Irving there, I suppose if you want to throw some money on the Miami Heat +1,500 coming out of the East, I don't think they're going to win. If you're playing the conference winner, okay, there is probably a nice bet at +650 for Miami. But it's hard for me to see anybody getting past the Bucks this year, but I would have said the same thing last year. So looking at the player futures, looking at some of these other things here, when we're looking at assists, it was hard for me not to look at LeBron James and just think he's going to be the league leader. There are a few others in here I think have an opportunity. Luka Doncic, listen, he led the NBA in triple doubles with 17 last season, and I think that he always has an opportunity to lead the league in assists going forward, but he just doesn't have the scorers that LeBron James has around him. LeBron still is going to be the league leading assist man this year because of AD. As long as AD is healthy, man, he's just going to be able to dish it to him, and AD is just going to body people down low in the paint. And we saw AD stroking some threes in preseason, so I don't know. It's hard for me to get off this +275. I think that's a pretty good bet. But I wrote up this article for you if you want some more specific insight based on their games, some money line data, where the bets are going, and where I'm thinking things are heading. So let's do DFS. That's where my wheelhouse is right now. That's all I've been looking at for the past 16 hours. So again, teamriseorfall.com. This is free down below in the description section. I was looking at the Sims model mostly to start my day, and there's a few players that really just kind of pop off for me, and I'm very intrigued to see what happens tonight. And Core Creator, when we're looking at this, so here's how you use this, because I know I have a lot of new members watching this video for the first time today. If you're saying to yourself, nope, I am staying away from the primary scoring of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and I think Karis LeVert is just the key, right? The key to tonight's slate. Or maybe I think it's Kawhi Leonard, right? And I want my core to be with Kawhi Leonard, and I want multiple studs. So I'm going Kawhi Leonard, and I wanted to use more than 50% of my salary cap. All right, well, what are the best three-player cores by projection? All right, so you've got Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard. That takes up $27.6K, which is 55% of your cap. That is the highest trio projection over 50% when I am plugging in Kawhi Leonard. So that's how you use it. And if you're like, no, I think that Paul George wants to make up for his awful playoff showing, I want a Paul George core with between 30 to 40% of my salary cap being used. All right, cool. So Paul George, Andrew Wiggins, Joe Harris is the highest projected three-player core at 72.7 points. If you want to go by value, it's Paul George, Dennis Schroeder, and Joe Harris at 70.8. And that's a 3.7%. 3.85 value. And if you're going by floors, maybe you're going Paul George, DeAndre Jordan, Karis LeVert, right? Like, you have all sorts of different things you can go by. You can go by ratings. Paul George, Andrew Wiggins, and James Weissman. the rookie for the Warriors. A 248.6 rating tonight. Phenomenal. I am suggesting to people, I think that ratings are likely the best way to go to start our season. Projections are going to be median projections, and we often use very short-term, 3, 5, 10 game data points to make these projections. Your projections in the NBA are often based on trends and pace and matchups and Vegas and stuff, and a lot of those things I think will be very inefficient to start the season. Ratings take into account more long-term data and historical data for spots, pricing, player type, things like that. So I don't want to go totally into what ratings are, but I think early season, while we're gathering information, I think ratings might be the way to rock and roll. All right, so once you've kind of looked over some of this stuff, the building blocks I think are going to be key for people. So if you're trying to build a FanDuel entry today, you can come here, look at the rise or fall building blocks. You go to the NBA tab, there'll be the 2 tools. You can go to the content, stuff like this. You know what this looks like, right? Let me just show you just in case. So there's the NFL, and then here's like NFL tiered rankings and notes. So you'll come here, you'll have the coaches, it'll have their building blocks. Basically, that is who they're building their lineups around. If they're making a single entry or a cash game lineup, it'll have that. Then you'll have the tiered rankings with all the notes, player notes, things like that. So basically, it's going to be the same strategy you see for NFL, MME player pool, cash game player pool with notes, single entry player pool with priority picks, things like that. They're all there, but now they're going to be there for NBA. All right, so you'll have all that to build out. Now let's do it. Let's look at some of these things tonight. Looking at the tip-off on Superdraft, and I am going to be looking at some of the multipliers. Jumps off the page immediately for me. Kyrie Irving at 1.2 multiplier. Hard for me to take someone like LeBron James with a 1.05 on Superdraft. When you have Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving at 1.2. LeVert, 1.55, I think is very interesting. 1.6 for Kelly Oubre Jr., nice. 1.65 for Lou Will. I'm looking for scorers, right? I want people who can score the orange tonight. Let's go look at the forwards. Those guys were the ones. Paul George, 1.45. over LeBron James. Wiggins, 1.5. KD's 1.2. Like, it's hard to play James tonight. I get that he's dual eligibility at guard and forward. That is very nice. But, man, we're talking 1.45 for Paul George. 1.2 for KD. Let's go look at the centers. Montrezl Harrell here at 1.65. Jared Allen, 1.5. Probably the plug-and-play option tonight. All right, let's look at FanDuel. And again, I will put in my building blocks. I'll do my tiered rankings and notes and all that soon as well. I will also be posting another article. This one will be VIP over on Patreon. We're up to around 80 members here, 77 members. Nice. Very cheap, very affordable. And we're adding stat projections into this $9.99 tier. So it's Discord stat projections. Stat projections you can use for Monkey Knife Fight. You can use them for your player props. So when you're shopping around for player props, if you're a sports bettor, our stat projections model will be there for you to do all things player props. Man, KD, I love this price tag. 8.5K at power forward. Ay. Steph Curry against Kyrie Irving tonight. I think Curry's truly going to be like 36 points, 35 points. He's going to take 20 shots. Oubre and Wiggins they're secondary and tertiary scorers. I just want to get off this chalk, right? Like, if we're trying to get off some of this chalk, a core like this looks good to me. I've got a little ping pong here between KD and Curry. Maybe they get a little bad blood or something. I don't know. Then you got Leonard, a little pivot off of, James and Davis. And then go from there, man. Look for some value. The only thing that stops Pascal from going ham tonight, I think, is truly just minutes. You never can count on his minutes. I don't know how many minutes James Wiseman's going to get either. We'll have to look into that before I put out my notes today. This is probably just initial core, something like this. I got a lot of studying to do for DFS, though, for today's rotations, and I'll be using the projections, diving into Fantasy Cruncher, and going from there, as usual. That's how I roll. Man, DeAndre Jordan popping as one of the top values, 6.07. Yeah, I got some work to do. You know what? I'm going to just dive into that right now. So I can pump out my tiered rankings, hammer out my player notes, and then I need to spend my day in Discord helping players, build some good lineups. And I'll probably have maybe $1,500 on the line tonight. I'm going to play heavy on superdraft. I love that site. I'll probably do maybe the 222 on Fanduel and then like $100 entry on DraftKings. So it comes out to like $1,500. And Fanduel, I think I have 33 entries into this. There are a bunch of tickets, so I'll do some type of core, and I'll build around them, and I'll give away some type of strategy session, VIP stuff for Ronins over on the website. Hey, by the way, if you want to be a member and you end up signing up, you end up getting $20 to use on Fancy Cruncher. Yeah, every month, $20 coupon. So I hope you join up. You get a whole lot of content. It's all access, all sports, everything for the Ronin tier, and then $20 to FC and Discord, of course. So I hope to see you join up. And future videos will have a little bit more of a specific format that I plan on following, and daily streams 11:30 a.m. Eastern right here on YouTube. And I hope you hit that sub button, hit that like button. I have no marketing team. It's just me going to work every day, all day, doing all sorts of sports betting and DFS content. So any type of subscribe and like button to support free content going forward to show me that it's going to be worth my time and energy to put towards this stuff, please, by all means, I'd appreciate that. And if you happen to sign up, I'll see you in Discord, my friends. Together we rise.